So let's bring everyone in on the conversation we've been having. We started off talking a little bit about entrepreneurship. Let's continue that. Yeah. Betsy Cohen, St. Louis Mosaic Project Executive Director, back from the previous table, and Ibrahim Vajzovic, a businessman in the Bosnian community. Maybe that's a perfect place to start. Would be a little the history, if you would. Give us the story as you've seen it develop over the last 20 years in what a lot of us would say in the Bevo area, but it's expanded beyond that.
Yeah, it has. And you're correct, it has been almost 20 years since, a little bit over 20 years since first Bosnians came to St. Louis. And why we came to St. Louis, I think we already heard, but in that time St. Louis had a very good job market, housing was very affordable, and we created the first small community. Once we found out that we felt very good in this environment, we brought people from other parts of the United States of America and from Europe as well.
Why? What did you like about St. Louis?
It's so many things that I would like to say.
Was there something about that neighborhood in particular?
It reminds us of our neighborhood back in Bosnia. And don't forget that neighborhood was built by Germans, by Irish people, Italian, and we're neighbors back in Europe. So it was architecturally very, very similar to our environment back in Bosnia.
So the community grew beyond what was originally here?
Of course, that was second generation of immigrants, or secondary immigration that people came from other states of America, and many of them came from Europe. And after that we brought our family members, so which was kind of still a good program in the United States of America.
Well, the businesses, the buildings, going back to the buildings, what was there before? Were they thriving businesses, or were they boarded up windows?
Yeah, I remember in probably 1995 when I first time walked on Gravois and Morgan Ford and Kings Highway, South Kings Highway, and it looked very strange. A building boarded up, abandoned, not businesses at all, and people were moving out of that area. However, we found that area to be very, very good, convenient to us, and we started renting places first, and then we started purchasing small houses, and then we started doing businesses, opening businesses. However, today we have, I would say, close to 1,000 businesses in that area, South City. We're expanding to South County as well, and a little bit to Southwest County. So we have many, many businesses in that area, and that area looks very good. In fact, and I know you did, if you walk on Saturday or Sunday or Friday, you couldn't find a parking spot in that area. It's very crowded.
Betsy, can we replicate this, or does it only by sheer numbers that something like this could happen, something that we're not in control of, or can this be replicated?
Well, Anna mentioned also now we're only having maybe 600 to 700 refugees that come a year, and they're split from different ethnicities, whereas when our Bosnian neighbors came, they came by several thousands at a time, so they had a critical mass of community and knowledge and learning, and they built community and attracted it. So they had some advantages of scale that now we have to look more in a wider range of how do we build it. And I think some of the things that we're seeing, for example, with the Cambridge Innovation Center and how you build serendipitous collisions, as they talk about, the entrepreneurial community, you build it by spaces and places and people, but not necessarily the fact that everyone's living near each other and starting neighborhood businesses by clusters, but it's more dispersed, but you come together when it's entrepreneurial.
The Cambridge Center you're talking about, this is in the Cortex,
yes,
in the Central Corridor in the Central West End.
So you bring people together for meetings and activities and ideas, but they don't all live together to start businesses, whereas with the Bosnian community, they lived together and started businesses in that neighborhood.
Brings back the academic component too. There, I would imagine when you think of Cortex and their efforts to harness the graduates of the different universities.
Yeah, particularly, and that's on high skilled. One of the things that the Mosaic Project is now working on is how do we also encourage neighborhood businesses, and we are looking at how do we create an ecosystem and bring people together. And Ibrahim is one of the people. We're having our first Immigrant Entrepreneurship Advisory Board through the Mosaic Project, and a lot of it is going to be talking about neighborhood businesses. What do we do to help other clusters around the community do what they did, and how do our African immigrants here build community and start businesses? What resources do they need? What about our Latino? What about our Asian? where are there clusters or where are there separate places where they can start businesses. So we're bringing people together in March for the first time, and we're going to do learning about how as a community we can help neighborhood businesses like we've also helped high-tech businesses.
What are you going to tell them when they convene folks together? What are you going to tell them that the small business, the small immigrant businessman or woman needs in St. Louis?
He started many businesses, so he's got a lot of ideas.
Yeah, we do, and I think it's very, very simple. I would say that Bosnia has just repeated some other patterns that we had from other communities, like Germans, people of Jewish faith, Italians. So we just picked up on that pattern. However, we brought very good and hard-working culture with us. We're hard-working people, and we value education as well. So for new immigrants, there's a lot of opportunities in St. Louis. That's why I would say we have a great institution, International Institute, that helped many immigrants. We have Mosaic project now, which is kind of step up from what we had a couple of years ago. And I think there are a lot of opportunities for small businesses, starting with good financing to good advisors from different areas. And then we have very good universities in St. Louis area. So I would say we have the whole everything in St. Louis area that would help new immigrants start new businesses and grow.
You mentioned the work ethic. Does that hold true in the younger generations that don't know the history, that they themselves were born here? Does that hold true?
Probably so. You know, I'm a first-generation immigrant. As you could notice, I'm the only one with the accent tonight, which is okay. But second generation of immigrants, they have different views. But however, they still keep a lot from us, from parents, and I think they're a good citizen and they're good people.
Is that a concern? Is that a priority of yours to retain that history, that community's memory of 20 years ago?
Yeah, this is my lesson. This is a lesson that I give to everyone. I would say just take everything that's good in this society from American culture and keep everything that's the best from your culture. Mm-hmm. If we put those things together, that will probably be the best solution. And that's what most of our people do.